Who is the cast that's going to be in Jazz and the
Ah,
Greens this
boy,
weekend?
again, double shift here.
Well, I want to get an idea of the breadth of jazz.
Yeah,
Local?
we one of the things that we pride ourselves is that we actually we move beyond the borders in the sense of Trinidad borders, so that we have from St. Lucia Ronald Buhingson. He's an icon in Caribbean music, Caribbean jazz certainly, from St. Lucia, and he's working with his top singer Irvin Ace Lockter. So Buhingson and Irvin Ace Lockter. We also have a pair of St. Lucian brothers who live here in Trinidad. They go at the University of Southern Caribbean. They call themselves the Charles Project, Anton and Zane Charles. And they've put together a group. They're brilliant musicians. They actually, one of them teaches music at the University of Southern Caribbean. And he will be working with, they'll also be featuring a young singer called Renee Lawrence. She was a Spotlight winner for the Music TT Spotlight series. So they're two of the acts, and effectively they're the two St. Lucians. We've put together two fabulous singers. We call them the Tobago Divas. Kay Allen, very popular, and Stephanie Joseph. She's popular within the reggae community, but she has a magical voice. She performed at Tobago Jazz Experience last year. We have Rodney Alexander, Bassy Experience. Rodney Alexander is well known to a number of musicians. He's like the most in-demand bass musician, but he can also make a bass guitar the lead instrument. So, and he's working with Nisa, who's a kind of another singer who's very popular, as well as Calabash from Canada, and they'll be featuring Darren Shepard. Darren Shepard actually was a founder of Calabash. Darren Shepard now is in charge of Fontclair Steel Orchestra, and they will be rounding out the whole thing as we open with Mood Steel Orchestra. So it's Calabash with Darren Shepard, Buhingson with Irvin Ace Lockter, the Charles Project with Renee Lawrence, the Tobago Divas as Kay Allen and Stephanie Joseph, and they'll be supported by EFX the band and Rodney Alexander, and he'll be featuring Nisa. And we're opening with Moods Steel Orchestra. I thank you, Dominic, for that plug.
What's it like? What's it like having to string together an event like this with such a cast?
It's work. It's work and it's money, all right? And and one of the things that we've been recognizing, unlike a lot of I don't want to say this, unlike a lot of national festivals, is that you have to plan this thing a year in advance, right? Because aside from getting the acts at a proper time and probably getting bookings in terms of flights and that kind of stuff, it's a lot of work because there's a lot of infrastructural work that has to take place, especially for an outdoor event. If you go into Napa, everything is there. So you just sell the tickets and sell the event. But outdoor, you have to basically physically build an event, which involves that same theater and dance hall act that we've been talking about. And that takes time. It takes a lot of effort. And also, one of the hardest things now, especially as we talked about the kind of economics of these business, certainly here in the Caribbean, you have to be able to convince sponsors to come on board.
Which timing is important, because remember, they have a financial cycle.
Yes.
They approve their budget in January. If you come in February, you get left out.
Plus, as I said, Carnival, as I said, it absorbs a lot of the energy for marketing and for sponsorship and things. But there's a kind of growing awareness that, okay, there's a post-Carnival season. Yes. And I remember the tourism ministry or whoever puts out the tourism master plan, they wanted to have a kind of seasonal, Trinidad is seasonal, Carnival. But there was post-Carnival music festival season. So that there's a certain amount of linkage between tourism and music, something I'm not a fan of. But there's a recognition also, certainly at the corporate level, that there's another audience that has money to spend and buy the services and products of these sponsors. And we just have to craft a proposal that makes sense to them and to us, and hopefully get...
Did you mention the venue?
Oh, wow, again, a full thing here. The Greens at Farm Road, that's at Wassa Compound in St. Joseph. You know where Wassa is? You just go, when you enter the building, behind that building is a big cricket field, and you convert that field into...
The last time I went to a jazz event, it was by Yui's premises
DCFA?
Next to Hugh Wooding.
That's DCFA. That's Jazz Artists and the Greens, the early incarnation.
That's the same thing?
Prior to 2011, that's where we started, effectively. It started in 2003. And by 2010, the UE was building new buildings, and we couldn't set up the stage before Friday because they had classes still going on. So we moved and we went to Wassa Grounds in the sports club, as it was, and the cricket field, larger field, and they have lights, so that even at night, there's this ring of lights so that you're not in pitch blackness kind of stuff. And it's a bigger space and that kind of stuff. But we're evolving as all the time, and we're still around. So lucky us.
So what's the different style of these members of the cast?
Oh, well, in a sense, one of the things that we've discovered, certainly with our audience, majority female, is they love singers, right? So if you have 5 acts just playing instrumental music, some people will get bored, right? So, which is why I always tell people, listen, let's get singers. The Tobago Divas are singers. They sing a range of music, but they're going to focus on instrumental versions and jazzy versions of popular songs. That's what they do. Kialan does it. Stephanie Joseph did it famously last year in Tobago Jazz Experience. The Charles Project, young fellas fusing Kaiso jazz, really, really innovative kind of stuff. Boingson is smooth jazz. He plays a lead guitar, I just sing. Very smooth, very, very casual kind of stuff. You wear a pretty shirt, and that's music for relaxing as it was, right? And Rodney Alexander, very modern, very contemporary. He's just gonna have everybody dancing as it starts at the start of the show. Who did I leave? But Calabash, fusion.
Any panas? Or pan?
Well, as I said, we have Mood Steel Orchestra is opening the show at 4 o'clock, and Darren Shepherd is a featured artist with Calabash. And Darren Shepherd is our kind of, he's an iconic musician, supposed to be recognized a lot more than he is at present.
Nigel Campbell, thanks a lot.
And thank you very much for this, Dominic and Roger.
It's infomercial.
And for this infomercial, thanks again for that.
One couldn't talk about the subject without mentioning that an event
Knowing
is
the
happening.
subject.
Yeah. I thank you for that, and trust me, I'll capture this video and run it again. Thanks
But
again
it
for
has
everything.
become one of the major post-carnival events, let's face it.
And we're grateful for that, and we hope to continue growing and building.
Thanks a lot for listening. See you again.